Joining us here on Sports Day, a very special guest, Terry Phelan, somebody, if you've been watching Indian football, who knows Indian football very well. And if you're a Manchester City fan, then that's somebody you know indeed very, very well. Terry, first of all, welcome to Sports Today. Let's begin talking about the macro things over here. Looking at the health of Indian football, where do you think does it stand at the moment?
Well, I mean, it depends which department you're actually looking at. If we're looking at the grassroots departments, I think the All Indian Football Federation are really progressing in that. They're trying to get as many coaches through the licenses they can. D licenses, C licenses, B licenses, A licenses. To really upskill the coaches and upskill the students. Depending on where they are working and which part of the country they're working. We forget that India is a big place. And, it's important that we have better coach education, better student education all around the country for us to really grow. And I think that's really happening at this present time. Obviously at South United Football Club, we expect our coaches to go out and take their badges. That's a big part of the growth of football at South United Football Club. Many of our coaches have gone on now, C licence, B licence coaches, and come back very successful. So then it's up to us at the football club to really now tap into them and keep that growth ongoing.
I want to talk to you about, let's say, the AFC Asian Cup and how India performed in the first two games that they've played. They've only got the one game left against Syria now. But what is your assessment of India's performance in the AFC Asia Cup? Because there was a lot of expectations which haven't been met in this particular edition.
Yeah, and I think, we really have to look at it, we're still growing. Yeah, I think we're still growing. And I know there's a lot of criticism out there now, and there will be, that the expectations didn't hit the heights it should have hit with the management in there and, the players they've got there. Sometimes you have to come off the back pedal. Sometimes you have to take a backward seat to look forward. Don't forget, you're playing against quality oppositions and all. And I think in friendly matches, when we play friendly matches, we've got to play against quality opposition. If we want the Indian national team to grow, we've got to compete against the Asian teams. We've got to compete against even the better Asian teams. And this is where, we've seen Arsene Wenger come in with the FIFA academy system coming in. But India is a big place. We all have different ideas. And, it starts with the local districts, state associations, the local football association, then it leads up. But, getting back to the national team, listen, I haven't got a criticism of them, to tell you the truth. It's just that we're playing against quality opposition. And, a lot of their players are playing across the world of football, in Europe, in big, massive leagues. Not saying the ISL is not a big league in Asia. It is. It's got its fan base. But I think the management will look back again. And it is disappointing. It is disappointing because the expectation of the fans is sky high at this present time. And it's a knock. But it's a knock we can take, and we look at it and we get the positives out of these games, and we go again in the last game. And that's all we can do. We can't just down our tools and say, right, that's it. Our aspirations is getting to a World Cup, and it's up to me and everybody around to get India to a World Cup if we possibly can. With my football club, our football club, South United, and what we breed in that club, and other many clubs and academies. And that's what we have to think about. But there's a group of lads in there now. They've done extremely well up to now. And listen, you've got to keep on going. We can't knock everything the national team do. You do get beat, you win games, but now it's going back to the drawing board and having a look how we can, cement a win in this last game.
Yeah. You talked about how, India have been aspiring and will continue to aspire to be in the FIFA World Cup one day. But the fact remains that, they've had a poor AFC Asian Cup. Looking at the performances, would you say that there's still a big gulf, let's say, forget the European teams, but let's say between India and some of the Middle Eastern countries, or even the top giants in Asia as well, you name it, let's say Japan, South Korea, there's still a big gulf, let's say, between India and where these teams stand?
Well, listen, if you look at Japan and look at India, look at the size, look at the demographics. It's a massive country, India, and like I says, it's really, really a difficult one. And I think, we say the United States of America is a big country. It is a big country, but we have to put a system together. We have to really put a system together, and the system has to start from the bottom up. It can't start from the top down. It has to start from the bottom up, and I think that will happen. Obviously, there is a roadmap which the All Indian Football Federation has put together for the future. We are looking at having real, an academy system, talent identification, centres in and around India, maybe 4 or 5 of them. I think that is a must. That will help to get the best talent instead of the talent being just in the clubs, and that win-win-win philosophy. We have to grow. We have to develop players to be able to compete with your likes of what you said, Japan, South Korea, Australia. We have to be able to do that, minus the smaller clubs. But I think where we're lacking a little bit, you look at them countries, and a lot of their players are playing in the top leagues, EPL, German leagues, Spanish leagues, the French league, the Portuguese league, the English league. They are playing in these leagues, and we've got to be able to compete with them. And I'm not saying that we're not. I think India is competing, but then the levels are a little bit different.
You mentioned about the football club. There are 3 academies that you just recently opened at South United. Could you tell us a bit more about these academies to begin with?
Yeah, well, obviously, we know that South United Football Club in Bangalore is a fantastic venue. It's been built from scratch. It's taken an awful long time to build this, and the idea and the philosophy and the vision around it from Mr. Sharon, obviously the owner and his family, and Mr. Pranav, the CEO. They had this vision to build a community hub in the centre of Bangalore. And they've done that. Obviously, it's been on, the growth has started in 2012. And, we've seen many of students come through, not just footballing students, but all types of different students in the ecosystem, which we're trying to build and grow. And, it's a family, it's a community. And that's what we've built. Yes, we've got TOTS programs, we've got JDP programs, we've got youth development programs, we've got elite programs, and then we've got the first team program. Now, obviously when COVID hit, we really had to stop our growth. Now we're really growing again. Obviously, we're hitting the major cities, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 cities. We're in Pune at the moment. We've opened 3 centres in Pune. Yes, we're really locking them in now. And I think it's getting that holistic approach and growing the game in these cities.
The one thing I want to understand about these academies and the way the club's being run at the moment, one of the biggest criticisms has been that even though there's been, we've seen in India in the past, there's been, European clubs that have opened academies here, and other veterans as well of football who've been associated with these clubs in many ways at the grassroots level, but it's not been able to, let's say, give the kind of result that Indian football thought it would get. How does the academy then sort of try to address this criticism, or is doing better in terms of not falling into the trap that, let's say, the others have fallen in the past?
We will not fall into that trap because we're self-sufficient. We are self-sufficient. Do we need a European club to come in? I wouldn't think so, no. That's not what's on our agenda. Do we want to have exposure trips? Yes, we can have exposure trips with the knowledge I've got around the world. That's paramount. That'll come in the next few years. But it depends on what them individual academies are looking for. You know, we've seen Manchester United come in, we've seen Arsenal football, you know, Juventus, we've seen many come in, and there's still, you know, European clubs coming in now and having a look. So that tells you something, that there is growth in India. They are looking to come into India. We've probably got, and I say we, because I'm part of this ecosystem in India, we've probably got 1 million Messis, 1 million Ronaldos, but it's fine-tuning it, and how do we find it, and how do we integrate them? The young modern family now are really having a look at it. We have the ISL, you know, where there's a great growth now of younger players going into the ISL. But getting back to your question, it's for different entrepreneurs and different moments what they actually want. If they want to link up with a club, that's okay. You know, is it about selling shirts? I wouldn't think so. If a shirt's going to cost 3,000 rupees, you know, you can go probably down the road and get that shirt for 500 rupees. So, I mean, it's up to what their perception is if they are going to link up with an international club. Listen, there's nothing wrong with it. It helps the growth of football. We need private providers, and yeah, I think it's healthy, but it's up to what that individual academy or club wants out of it at the end of the day.
We just hope, Terry, that, you know, SUFC continues to achieve what it wants to achieve. And like you said, since it's working so strongly at the grassroots level, and it can't be done from top to bottom, it's got to be done from bottom to top. We hope that SUFC helps us get there. It does obviously fulfill its personal ambitions as a club, but obviously, you know, give to Indian football that it's so, you know, that it's been longing for quite some time now. Terry Phelan, thank you so much for joining us here at Sports Today.
Thank you very much.